Welcome to the No BS Short-Term Rental Podcast, an unfiltered look into the global vacation and short-term rental industry.
I'm Mateo Bradford.
And I'm John Stokinger.
And this is our podcast. We bring the right people to the table at the right time, giving you an inside view and take on the short-term rental industry like no other podcast can.
Good morning, Mateo. How are you?
Hey, man, I am back to life, back to reality. I'm good, brother. It's
Back
right.
to reality. Yeah.
It was good to be on the road. I am glad you caught that. Good.
Did you think I wouldn't?
I thought there was a 25% chance. You know, it's the morning, but John, you continuously surprise me, man. So
Season 3, episode 18.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Very special episode this week. We're talking about a project we're just, a little bit different. Neely Khan is with
on board today.
The whole team, the three co-founders of this project are on board. Neely, thanks so much for joining us. Good morning or good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this episode. I'm so happy to be back. Do you remember the last time I was on this podcast?
I do.
Things have changed.
Things have
changed. Things have evolved.
The relationship has grown.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
So for those of you that have not been paying attention, and that's fine, because we're also relatively newly put this out. We're building something very special, and this episode is all about that. We decided to come together. I had a thought, and I had an idea that I wanted to do, and I didn't really know how to do it, and so I got together with Mateo, and we thought. Truly, to be fully honest, the idea actually was sparked, and I don't even know if I talked to you about this, is my wife, like last year, a year ago around Halloween, she's like, wouldn't it be cool if you did something like spooky, like around Halloween, and like did something different for the podcast? I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool. And nothing really came to fruition with it. But then it got my brain going, and then Teo and I talked, and then we're like, we need someone to work with this. And we reached out to, that knows the space. We reached out to Neely, and I realized, well, now that I'm talking, that truly everyone listening to this podcast still has no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just speaking in circles. We'll talk about how it came about in I guess first reactions, but we are putting out a fictional mystery podcast that is set a vacation rental environment. Yay!
Yep.
So let's get into the why too, right? Like there was a little, this is, we didn't do comedy this time around, although I feel like that's in our future at some point. But murder mysteries, everybody listens to them. When you're looking up like the most downloaded genre podcast, it's that true crime murder mystery podcast, right? And when you think about it, well, at least when I think about it in my head, I think about road trips. I think about like where do like, all right, if all these people are downloading it, when the hell are they listening to this shit? And who's listening to it? It's the vacation rental demographic. It's those people that are on long trips with their families. It's the people who are watching 2020 every Friday. Like there's a reason all of these shows, like we're enamored with this, and what better way to put the industry that we're a part of and love and gaining new exposure to new markets for all of our brands in this industry. And I know I'm going a little bit deeper than our initial thought, but like that was the why, right? Above and beyond the things that sparked it in John's mind. And anyone who knows John, I talk a lot of shit about John. John's partner in crime along with Neely, but John has some pretty incredible ideas sometimes.
Thank you.
A lot of times. But I think this is going to be great for the industry. It's new, it's refreshing. It is a way to expose the industry and the brands of the industry to the greater population that takes vacations, but may not be familiar with the world that we are going to immerse them in. And I love it. I love that Neely's on this. I can't think of someone better to be the wordsmith. And I find out a new word for that too, because I'm like, she's like the verb gangster, like
verb gangster. I love that. I much prefer that to wordsmith. for sure. Verb gangster.
So,
Yeah, it
but
sounds,
and John, so like, yeah, we're doing this thing, man. We introduced it at Book Direct Show for those that were there and got to hear the original promo. Website's up. John did an incredible job putting that up. And we were in Vegas out there slinging cards with the trailer on it, like certain adult establishments were on the Strip, like handing out cards to people, like, hey, you got to check this out. But no, this is a great project, and yes, it's our project, but I know the quality of the work that is coming out of this group, and I know the innovative nature in which this is born. I'm excited, and me, I don't like to talk about things a lot like that are our own. So
my question for you, Neely, is what made you excited about coming in and partnering with us and co-founding this project with us?
Well, lots of things. First of all, I had no idea how that idea came about for you, because I don't think you told me that it was off the back of a conversation you had with your wife. That's yeah, so I've learned something there too. So when you contacted me, I think it was a good few months ago now, and it was literally just a LinkedIn message, wasn't it? And you're like, Neely, I've got this idea. I want to create this murder mystery set within the vacation rental environment. I think the absolute originality of it, the fact that it was so obvious to me that it's not been done before. Also the fact that murder mystery, the fictional mystery genre in general, is something that I've personally always wanted to write and sort of dip my toes into, but it's quite difficult to do when you write specifically for the hospitality industry. So all those things, but I think the most important thing, if I'm completely honest, the biggest thing that drew me to it was the fact that it was with you guys. I know it sounds really corny, but
It's a little corny, but I'm okay with it.
It's quite corny. But the fact that it was you that brought the idea up, and we'd obviously just done that one podcast together, but I already got a really good vibe from both you and Matteo. And I thought, if I'm going to work on something really fun and creative and something that's going to involve many, many conversations, because it's actually quite an intimate creative process, I think, among the three of us. We have to, I don't think people realize when you're working on stories as such, you have to be quite vulnerable and honest with the people you're working with. And I think having that working relationship, because in order to be fully creative, you need to be completely comfortable with the people you're working with, which I'm not used to doing. I usually work on my own. So, that was actually very important to me too. So even if I loved the project, if I didn't like you two, then, I wouldn't be as excited about it. I wouldn't be doing it. So I think that's probably the thing that excited me most.
That's awesome, and we're super stoked you have come on board, and we jumped in with both feet. So when I was thinking about it, and how this has evolved, the main, why do the thoughts that I had early on in this is if I'm listening to a fictional story, and we've listened to a lot in preparation to make sure that we're putting out a quality product, a product that can stand up against the best in the industry,
right.
And you'll hear, we're going to play the trailer in a little bit for you here in the podcast. If you haven't heard it yet, you'll hear it. What stood out to me is commercials suck. Nothing will absolutely like take the story and fragment it more than slamming a drip commercial in the middle of it. And B, like how do you involve an industry that you love without necessarily blatantly going, welcome to and listen to this and rich chocolate Ovaltine and all this kind of shit. Like, how do you go ahead and make something that is like, basically, if you're outside of the industry, and I know we're using the word industry, if you're outside of short-term rentals or vacation rentals and in our space that we work in every day, you might not necessarily know that this is set in a world that we live in every day, but you're gonna be peppered with these ideas and these thoughts, and you're gonna go, holy shit, maybe I want to go check that out. Like are the main, shout out to Dennis and in the whole team at Cassiola. They are our title sponsor for this podcast, for this story.
Yeah.
So huge shout out to Dennis and Cassiola, and we'll list everyone else that has come on board. But a lot of the story being told is being told in Cassiola, at Cassiola locations, in short-term rentals, in Orlando, in Aruba, in
In
Miami.
Miami, yeah.
And so the story takes place everywhere, but it's mentioned and is peppered, and the listener is going to know that the main character and other characters are staying at a Cassiola, and this is why this Cassiola experience is so amazing. And so that's the draw for someone like Dennis and the team there. But the listeners outside of our space, the ones who are really going to be listening, like we're making this. Yes, we know that the majority of everyone in our industry is going to listen to this podcast.
Right.
We hope so.
Mhm.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
betting on it, right? But we're not writing it necessarily with them. It's hard to explain. I don't want to say we're not writing it for them, because we are, but we're
Mm,
writing it for the people who love true crime, murder
mm,
Right.
mystery. It's written for them in
mhm,
our world.
Well, yeah, I think the right way to say it is it's an expansion of the audience group that we have, right? Yes, it is for the industry, but the industry is going to, again, this was written, yes, with them in mind, but also with a larger demographic in mind, with the intent of exposure, right? And
mhm.
exposure to the industry in subtle ways. We're not going to be up there like, did you get your key coder? Like, here's this week's secret method. Drink your Ovaltine, since it's Christmas story time, and I'm super excited for the season. Anyway, I had to drop that reference, but that's not what we're doing, right? Like, we are working with Cassiola, who, again, shout out to them, because Cedric and Dennis and that whole team over there have been
Mike,
not just a
yeah.
sponsor, they've been enthusiastically sponsoring this in a way that I think will make this project unique, makes this project fun to deal with. And again, I think having someone that can share the enthusiasm of your vision, it's
Mm,
been so far, it's been really great. And so hats off to them. I thank you again for their support, and really, taking what we presented and really running and running with it, and being on board and being a great partner in this space. So
yeah,
Well,
they've
I
been so
mean,
actively involved,
yeah,
actually. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, absolutely.
and it's been phenomenal. Speaking of sponsors and products and that are involved, let me just kind of list them here, and you'll also hear them in the trailer. But let me list them, because without the support and the belief in, like, you know pitching this to these friends of ours, wasn't easy, because there's a leap of faith, right? It's like,
Right.
this has
Mhm,
never been like, keep in mind what we're doing here is not only never been done in our industry, it's never been done ever.
Yeah.
Like this isn't done this way. You know, like subliminal product placement isn't done this way in podcasts. It's a brand new idea. It's drip campaigns. It is, mid-roll, pre-roll mentions in podcasts. That's how money is made in podcasts. And, to be fair, like, we're not making money this time. This going right back into production. This is going right back into, the talent. That's what this is going into round one. If this is success, and we're betting it is, and everyone
mhm.
that's behind this,
Yeah.
round 2, 3, 4, might potentially be a different story. But let me just kind of quickly list in no particular order, other than Cassiola, obviously, as coming in as the title, starring roles.
Yeah.
And then Arrived, Jennifer Mucher with Arrived has come in, a decent amount. It's going to take place there in Bend, Oregon. Lynx, shout out to that team there. Thank you, Lynx.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Raisha, and Explories coming in.
Yep.
They're doing something with Antebellum's Cabin Rentals. Shout out
Shout to them.
to those teams there. Mount Maddie, you'll hear Maddie in the trailer.
Yeah, you will.
You're gonna love her. She gets angry at me. Seaside Vacations and Sales, Shinkatig, shout out to them. Thank you so much for coming on board. Boostly,
Yep.
it's really, really excited with, bring Mark, the team, on with us. Then also, DAC has come on board. So, kind of to talk about they're going to be working with a potential another company out of Nashville, which we're not 100% bulleted in, but they're coming in, so they're going to have an episode around them. And then let's not forget, Hopper. All travel is going to be done through Hopper, booked through
Yeah.
Hopper, IHM. No, HFM, I mean IHM, sorry. It's early. Oh man. Hospitality.fm, the family
there
that
we
we
go.
are is proudly,
Right.
obviously without HFM and amplified audio, this again, none of this would be possible. We huge shout out to Will. Huge shout out to Michael
Michael.
Chemaly,
Yeah,
who
absolutely.
the, editing and production genius behind what you're about to listen to. Actually, with that, I think this is a great segue. Um, let's play the trailer, and then we'll
Yeah.
come back. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
Hear the magic.
Derailed, a fictional mystery, a no BS production.
Come on. Fuck. Come on, pick up.
Jace, I've already told you. I can't.
Sophie.
Jace, where are you? Jace, are you at a train station? Tell me which one. I'll
Sophie,
come.
listen to me. I figured it all out. It's Lena. Lena, and
Jace, no, you need to let this go.
don't
We don't
understand.
know who you are anymore. You're scaring me now. Just tell me where you are. I've got the fucking cops asking about you. I can't. Please just tell me where you are. Didn't you hear me? The cops are looking for you.
Sophie, it's Lena.
Jace, what have you done?
So
And we're back.
We're back.
All right.
So I hope that it's you have goosebumps like I get, and I know that we all get. If you're listening and you have goosebumps, we did our job. If you don't have goosebumps, I think we still have we did our job, but it's you're maybe not be as invested in it as we are.
Yeah.
And it's not meant to give too much away as well,
Yeah.
isn't it? I think
Yeah,
it's quite
it's
important
very much a
to
teaser.
that. Yeah.
It's very much a teaser.
So even if it confuses, that's fine. But as long as it, I suppose, excites to some extent. But yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
triggers
that.
a question.
Let's talk about that because we played this at the Book Direct show, and
Mm.
and we didn't give I think enough like context ahead of time, and some people were very confused.
Well, you learn, don't you?
Yeah,
I think
and
we learned from
learned
that.
after the
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
They're like, "What the hell is this?" It really,
What did you just play? Yeah.
yeah, well, let's talk about what you just heard too. Hopefully, hopefully you listen to you're listening to it with headphones on. It's recorded in with a stereophonic. So it's basically 3D sound. You're gonna hear it go left to right, your front to back. It's recorded in a way that again isn't done much in the podcast world.
All right.
I think there is I was talking to Will, and he said there's one like a podcast story, a fictional story that has to do with Batman, like a Batman
Yeah.
Warner Brothers thing that is actually recorded in that way with a huge
That's
production
awesome.
team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we have Michael Chemaly, our dude that is just crushing it,
Yeah.
doing this stuff in recording in a way that you don't hear on podcasts. So don't let I want to bring that to your attention. It is high quality.
Yeah. I don't
It
think
is
it can be
epic.
overstated.
Epic for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So what you heard is, we're not going to give anything away here, but it's the main character is finally reached a point of something, and it's the opening scene of Derailed.
Mhm.
It's also, it's later in the story, if that makes sense. Neely, talk about your writing process a little bit. Talk about the story. Talk about how, what you're, we've talked about what excited you about working on the project, but a lot of this story is the ideas were ours, but we came together in you and we said, this is what we want to build. And you ran with it. Like how, like why Jace? Why this story? What excited you about this in this?
Oh,
In this
what a
more
question.
specifically?
I love it when people ask me about the writing process because I actually never know how to answer that question. It's such a difficult question. But I think with something like this, I will be completely honest and say that this is probably one of the most difficult genres to write. Collectively, I think we are beginning to learn that. Obviously, we're just starting out. I think I myself, even as a writer, didn't quite anticipate just how challenging it would be because you really need to know your shit to write a story in this genre. You need to know your characters inside out. Character development is hugely important, probably more so than the plot line. And then when you have a plot in this genre, I think knowing when to shock people, how to shock people, doing it in a way where it's shocking but still believable, doing it in a way where you're not coming across as condescending or patronizing, it's all stuff where you really need to understand human emotions and human psyche and just a whole bunch of shit other than just let's just write a nice story. So I think
Right.
again we've collectively really learned that this is so difficult. It's a difficult genre to write in, but at the same time it's also so exciting, and the creativity, the limits of where your creativity can go are like boundless. So in terms of Jace, obviously again we don't want to give too much away. I think I will say that we can all agree that when it comes to the actual story, because we do think it's a very unique story, don't we? Like, it's definitely not something I think the audience will expect. A lot of it, I think, is drawn from our own personal insights, maybe some of our own experiences and things like that. And I think the best stories, usually you do tend to lean on things that matter to you most. So yeah, I think in terms of kind of putting it together, when the actual plotline idea came about, and remember we kind of shared it with each other in a WhatsApp chat where I sent you like a wall of text and I was like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And that was like the skeletal plotline that we came up with together. It's weird. It's like when people ask me, where do your writing ideas come from? It's such a difficult question to answer because they definitely don't come when I'm sitting at my computer in front of a notepad or something like that, or when I'm intentionally sitting and thinking, okay, I need to come up with an idea. Something will happen in my day-to-day life and that will trigger some kind of a memory or an idea. And it's just that then turns into this story. There's a really famous quote, I can't remember it off the top of my head, about how storytellers get their ideas. And it's something along the lines of it takes literally 5 seconds to come up with an idea for a story, which it does, but it can take years to make that story work and to build on it. And I think that's what we're doing together. Doesn't really answer your question, but I don't want to give too much away, but that's the
No,
genuine.
it's a great answer. And I mean, the neat thing about, when you put down this real skeletal, like story arc and like, these are the ideas that I've come up with. What do you think? First of all, it was like bleh, so much stuff.
Yeah, it was so we edited a lot, didn't we? Yeah.
Like, wow, that was a lot. But then it's evolved over time. It's like, all right, what about this? What about that? And that's what I love. It's a real collaborative effort, and you've always been very open with that. And it's been necessary because on top of it all, when this started, we had, when we decided to do this and we're going to do it anyways, at the time we had 0 sponsors.
Right.
Yeah.
We're like, we have an idea.
Scary.
It's going to work. And everyone listening, like, this is in our, we're recording really, really early in the morning, East Coast time here for us in the, because we have other jobs. Like this is just a side project of a side project. This is just an idea that I wish that sometimes I could push pause on my brain and like not like jump both feet first into like side projects, but I can't. I don't have the ability to.
Not who you are, John.
But, like, so great, we have this amazing story arc, and then, knowing that it's gonna evolve and change over time, all right, now we have these amazing sponsors that are like have bought into what we're building because, they are as excited or they're feeding off our excitement. It's like, "Yes, I think we know you're gonna knock it out of the park." But when we get these new sponsors, now we have to tweak the arc that was
Yeah.
already written to work in a way that it comes across, and I don't want to say convincing because like that seems really like
It's authentic.
it's
Mm,
thank you, an authentic on an
effortless. Yeah.
Mhm.
and that's where Neely has always shined.
Yeah.
It's the ability to go ahead and to like I'm freaking out sometimes. I'm like company wants to come in and do this. I have no idea. It's gonna sound like there's no way. And it's like Neely's like I got that. It's not a big deal.
It's
I
all
got it.
good. So
Right.
good. Yeah.
We'll make
It,
it
it Yeah, no, we will make it work. I think, it's we are so fortunate to have such amazing sponsors actually
Yeah.
backing us up with this project. And actually, I think every single one of them has been very involved and been very forthcoming about telling us about their brand. And that definitely, I think, makes it easier for us to kind of weave them into the story naturally. And a lot of storytelling is about showing and not telling. So I think because of the quality of the sponsors we have, that definitely helps too. But yes, it's definitely required a lot of editing and idea tweaking. So yeah, it's been interesting.
so when the first episode is gonna drop winter. We don't have a definitive date yet. We're, we're being conscientious of all of our timelines, and also we're being conscientious of the sponsors' involvement in what they want to do, and we all have other deadlines. It will drop this winter. Initial thought is the holidays. We're still pushing for that. I'm not saying yes, it's going to be the end of December, but it will drop this winter. And once it does drop, we are going to go one episode a week for anywhere from 10 to 15 episodes. That's where it's going to be it's going to land. So we're really, really excited about that. We have an amazing marketing team that has come on board with us. We have an SEO pay-per-click team that's coming on board with us. So shout out to Jenna Furman, who's going to be helping us out. Shout out to Paul Manzi, who's going to be helping us out on pay-per-click and the SEO stuff. Will is going to be has been Will Slickers with hospitality.fm, and Amplified has been helping us out behind the scenes. He's going to be doing PR and stuff for us. So the engine is built.
Right.
We are now we're in the depths of recording. Again, getting up super early and recording this before we actually our day jobs kick in here in the States. We have just amazing talent, like voice actor talent that are
Surprising.
some
I know,
surprises.
yeah.
Some industry cameos, which we're really excited to go ahead and share with you. One was already
So
recorded
exciting.
Yeah.
for episode 1 that will absolutely blow you away when that drops. Shout out to Tyann. We'll just leave it at that. Like
Oh yeah.
she
Yeah, it's
Tyann came in.
so good.
Her character is phenomenal and she knocked it out of the park. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I don't want to keep going so much with this. We played the trailer. I guess, Teo, like, what about this project to you, like, resonated so much and made it so we just had to do it?
It's new. It was new. It was I mean, it was a no-brainer, right? When you look at, like I said, the demographic of who listens to this and the amount of exposure that our industry would get in this, right? Like I self-proclaimed evangelist of all things in our industry, STR and hospitality. And I think this is just an incredible way, a new way, an innovative way. Like all the things we always talk about wanting to do to stay fresh, to stay relevant, to stay, with things that are not stale and repetitive. This is in that space. So everything from that point of view, like, was just like, yes. I was never like, John, sometimes we'll go through ideas and we'll be like, I don't know how that works. I didn't know how this was going to work, but this was a yes. Like from the gate, it was like, hell yeah. Like, let's do this. Figure it out. This is dope. We
Yeah.
can make this happen. And when we pull this off, it will be incredible. And that's still my belief system. Like, I think this is going to
Yeah.
be great. I think the industry is going to be 100% the beneficiary of this, an expansion of our space and our culture. And knowing who's doing this, that was also the exciting piece, because it's more time with you and Neely, which, makes me happy. So,
And we met for the first time as well, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago? That was amazing.
Right.
That's been great. Yeah.
So
It was super cool to meet in person, and to present the trailer for the first time in person. Like, what that was unexpected when we first started talking about this. We didn't really know, it came to fruition
Mm.
after we started talking about this, and we were there anyways. We were presenting. All of us presented a great panel at the Book Trick show, and again, not sure which trailer we're gonna drop, to the one with sponsors in it or not. Probably with sponsors, but
yeah, definitely
we
with sponsors.
we went ahead and presented this at the Book Direct show for the first time. So I get a shout out to Damian, Sheridan, Deborah,
Yep.
Bobby, and to Will Slickers for putting on a fantastic show in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great gathering of amazing people focused on one sole thing of increasing direct bookings and we're honored to be allowed to present this there, and we really appreciate the support of the industry. And what a hell of a cool venue too. Like,
Oh yeah, it was great. Such a cool venue.
We had only timed the train tracks right. Like, we just needed
Oh my
the train
goodness.
schedule
Yeah.
right. For those who don't know, like, there was literally on the other side of this retaining wall outside of the venue were like the train tracks that go through Miami, and
Which is very apt for our story.
Right,
Yeah, the whole
right,
podcast. Yeah.
Derailed. So we just couldn't get the MTA or whatever their Miami Transit Authority schedule to work.
let's try harder next time.
Yeah, sorry, we let you down.
Neely, any final thoughts of knowing we're in the depths of recording, knowing that
Mm.
you're frantically writing, finishing this, the arc is there. We know the story now. Now it's actually, because to those who don't know, like, Neely is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're a fictional writer, you're a poet, you're a content writer, but a script writing or screenplay
Mhm.
is new to you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of new learnings that you've had to, into script learnings and directing-esque in your writing, and how I'm supposed to speak, how you're supposed to speak, how the context behind the scenes, which are new. Like, how is this, like, do you think this has evolved in you as a writer? And is this part of what excited you outside of, Teo and I, of course?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is my first script, like proper script. And it's definitely evolving me as a writer, because obviously I've not done it before. And actually as a person too, because I think when you're doing something like this for the first time, you have to be so open and accepting of feedback. And this is what I really appreciate about, both you and Mateo. So like John and Mateo are really good at sort of just being honest, and, there's no sort of like bullshit. If something's not working, they'll just be really, outright about it. And I love that. So I think it's definitely helping me evolve in that sense too. I've always believed that your best should be always yet to come. So for me, my biggest fear as a writer is to look back at a piece of work I've done and think, oh yeah, that's the best thing I've ever done. So again, that's why this project just has been so exciting and challenging, because I think challenges, and when you do things you've never done before, that's where you thrive the most. I mean, how cool is it for me that I get to learn a new skill? My final thoughts would just be utterly around gratitude, because I think when you have the opportunity to be creative, infinitely creative, with people that you genuinely get on with, while also serving an industry, while also serving fantastic sponsors, while also serving an audience who are invested in your story. I mean, that's such a vibe, right? There's no better way to live. So
Awesome.
Love that. Yeah.
Love that. Absolutely love that. For me, what has been the most exciting part of all this is I'm put I think back a year and a half ago, whenever, or 2 years ago, whenever we started the, no BS, it's like I was outside of my comfort zone. Putting myself in a position that we've never been in before, putting ourselves out there, a little bit of, imposter syndrome early on, work through that, feel that, very comfortable behind the microphone now, very comfortable learning to be more comfortable in front of people. I'm still working on that, in person, but the conversations that we've had over and over and over again with these amazing people have really enlightened me. It's enlightened Mateo. It's made us better. I don't know to say like, I don't want to say connoisseurs, but better
Mm,
people in our space here.
mm,
And this again puts me out of my comfort. I'm not in my comfort zone anymore.
Right.
When I'm
yeah.
putting ourselves, we're in a position of vulnerability. Like, all right, I've done that before. I've done some art projects. I've done some weird things that are like outside the box that like most people wouldn't do, or like want to do, and make yourself vulnerable, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Um, it makes you stronger, and like this is like super like out of comfort zone. Like, really, I'm voice acting too.
You're
Um,
acting
I'm
so
like
much. Yeah, you're
not
doing
an
a great
actor.
job, though. You're doing a great job.
I but it's super fun, and I'm learning so much about not only our space and what we're doing here, but I'm learning about myself, which has
Mhm,
been kind of cool.
mhm.
How far can you push yourself in a way that that you're still putting out quality, but you're uncomfortable, and that's been exciting for me. So without further ado, Derailed, the fictional mystery podcast set in a vacation rental environment, to go live. First episode sometime this winter. You will not miss when it's going to be live. Trust us. It'll be in your face. You'll know all about it. We're
Oh,
we're
yeah.
super super stoked about it. And the No BS short term rental podcast is not going to stop. This is not replacing that.
Right.
This is in addition to. This is just a different. It's just a side project, and we're really excited about it.
We are. And
So
I would
excited.
encourage everyone, we're going to drop the website, derailedpodcast.com. Will be down in the link. So updates, you want to hear the trailer again or share the trailer, please do. Information about the team on the site. John did an incredible job putting that together. So kudos to you, brother, for putting that up and out. It is up, it is live, and that will be the home base for all things Derailed moving forward. So we will keep you posted and updated on as the episodes drop. And once we are ready to go live this winter, we sound like Game of Thrones this winter. Guess what's coming? And I haven't even seen Game of Thrones. They're advertising, but no, it's exciting, man. And we will definitely make sure that the world knows when this is dropping. And until then, the excitement continues to bubble up, and we are excited to continue to work on this project and looking forward to bringing you. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I mean, this is gonna be a masterpiece. Either way, I'm calling it.
Yeah, yeah.
Calling it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Own it.
Don't be worried too if you notice that this isn't on Apple Podcasts or Spotify yet. It will be.
Yeah.
Apple, where you listen to your podcast, it's going to be there. It's going to be on all of them, but they won't allow you to until you get a full episode. Then you can go ahead putting it. So the trailer is up on. You can listen to the trailer.
On
It's
our
recorded
website,
on
yeah.
Megaphone, which is part of Spotify, but we're not officially on Spotify yet. So you can't go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and search up Derailed yet. You can, and a different podcast will pop up. So not ours.
Website.
Yeah, just go to the website, link in here, and back to No BS. If you're liking what you're hearing on the No BS Short Term Rental podcast, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, give us 5 stars, go to YouTube, give us a review, smash that like,
listen, subscribe, smash that like button, smash that notification button, and you will get notified everything that no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, there you go.
Done. I need to leave you guys a review, actually. I've just realized I probably should do that as well.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Clearly,
we've been all over that.
Really honored to be working with you. Thank you so much for jumping in and co-founding this project with us. We're really excited.
Guys, pleasure is all mine. Thank you both and everyone else.
This podcast is a Hospitality.fm production.